Hi guys and welcome back. Today I'm doing a clean with me in my kitchen. We do live in an apartment, so our kitchen isn't that big, but I do want to show y'all how I clean it. So the first thing I do is put everything back into the fridge that needs to go in the fridge. I had just made myself some breakfast, so there was a little bit of a mess in the kitchen. Just putting all of the dishes into the sink that are going to need to be washed. And now I'm just going to go ahead and spray down the oven with the Method Heavy Duty Degreaser. I just spray that all over. I lift that up and I spray underneath. I also take the stove out of it where it is and I spray the sides, because grease sometimes goes down there after I cook. And I just, let it sit for a little bit, let it do its thing. And then I just take everything off of the counters. So I can go ahead and wipe down. I wipe down with the Mrs. Meyer's Multi-Surface Everyday Cleaner. And again with my washcloth with hot water. You see me going back to the sink every time. That's because I rinse between spots. So I wipe it down, rinse my washcloth, go back, and wipe down again. I do the stove at the end. We don't use the actual oven so much, so it's not dirty, but the underneath of the stovetop is. We usually have a good routine of making sure we clean underneath there if we have any spills, which usually, like when I'm making beans or when I'm making some type of soup, I always have a spill. Now that the degreaser set in on the sides, I'm just going to wipe that down. Okay, so I take out all of the little pans so I can wash those while I'm washing dishes. And underneath each of the little pans on the stovetop, you get these rings too, so I make sure and clean that off as well. It's a lot of work cleaning the stove, to be honest. And now the microwave, again, just like the oven, we don't use it that much. I kind of just use it to warm up my coffee, because mom life, you always have to re-warm up your coffee 2 or 3 times a day. So just putting everything back in its place. Okay, now I'm putting everything back that I need to put in the pantry, which is usually the things that I use for my daughter's lunch. Kind of just put it back. Now here, got a little chilly, so that's why I put my little shirt on, but I'm just going to be putting plates away. On this side is where I have all my plates, so that's what I'm putting away. And I also have all of the girls' Tupperware for lunch and their plates. On to the next side. Over here is where I usually keep my cooking spoons, and to the drawer on my right is where I keep my spoons and my forks and the girls' utensils as well. Now my husband was kind enough to clean the kitchen last night, so we usually don't clean it right after dinner. We'll clean it in the morning, but again, win for the husband. He was nice enough to go ahead and clean that. Just putting my pans away and my cutting boards. Next side is my cups, and I also keep sippy cups here as well as my water cup. It's just a cup that I got from the dollar store, but it's plastic, so I use that most of the time for water. So I had completely forgot that I had those pans that were clean in the sink, so I made sure and went ahead and put those up. Now it's time to clean the dishes. So what I do is I rinse the dishes off, make sure that they don't have any food and that they don't have any hard stains on them, and then I just put them in the dishwasher. After dinner, I do the same thing. I get all of the plates that I know will have a hard stain. I just rinse off the food if there's anything on the plate, and I just put it in the dishwasher. I feel like this saves me so much time from hand washing each and every single plate. And for our dishes specifically, I just use the off-brand soap that is compared to Dawn, but it's a great value. Okay, so now I'm washing the stovetop pans, and these, I actually used a wool soap pad to clean them off. I feel like that takes off all that burnt in grease that it has, and it takes it off pretty well. And the wool soap pad is off-brand. I'm not even sure what brand it is, but any wool pad would do. Now as I rinse them off, I put them back where they go, and I put the coils back in, and I do a last wipe down of the stovetop. Okay, so now what I'm going to go ahead and wash is my bottles. Well, the baby bottles, not my bottles. I do still breastfeed, so I do have also pump parts that I have to wash on a daily basis. And specifically for my daughter's bottles, I go ahead and I use the 7th generation dish liquid, and I do have 2 different types of bottle brushes. I'm just going to rinse off my bottle brushes and put them back, and rinse off where I was washing them as well. Those parts of the pump that I'm taking off were actually already dry, so I did go ahead and put those back in the cabinet, and that part is right underneath where my coffee mugs were. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing I did with the other side. Take everything off of the countertops, including the sink, because I do wash down the sink after I'm done cleaning. And again, I'm using the same Mrs. Meyer's for the countertops, but specifically for the sink, I am using the Method Anti-Bac, and I use that just for the sink part. The first thing I like to wipe down on this side is the water filter. It gets really grimy too. We do use it pretty often, so that gets wiped down. And then the countertops. And once the countertops are done, I scrub down our sink. So now that everything's clean on this side, I'm just putting everything back how it was. And I'm also going to be putting up the cleaning supplies since I'm pretty much done with the top of the kitchen. So the next part is sweeping, and I make sure and I just sweep everywhere as much as I can, under the stove, under the dishwasher, under the refrigerator, because food falls off the countertops and will roll underneath the refrigerator. I only once a month do I ever actually move the refrigerator and actually sweep underneath it. So once everything's swept down, I go ahead and I use the Method Squirt and Mop with a Swiffer. Now the wipes that I use for my Swiffer are actually from the dollar store. I feel like the actual Swiffer pads are pretty pricey, and since I don't like using the liquid that comes with those Swiffer wipes, I just buy these instead. You can also find thinner wipes, which are dry wipes. This one is a little bit wet, but again, I always use the Method Squirt and Mop, so I feel like it does a really good job. And my kitchen is clean now. Feels so good to have a clean kitchen.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. My kitchen is now clean, and if you would like to watch the next video, make sure to subscribe. Bye!